this woman took time to perceive her current situation, to perceive her current self versus her potential self and her future self. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the state of your finances? Like you're literally pressed on every side. You don't have savings, you don't have investments, you're indebted. Like you just wake up and you feel sad and anxious and agitated and just generally inundated by your finances. I have been there when, as a young accountant, I was making quite a lot of money many years ago, but I didn't have a clue as to where my money is going. I was just realized that 1 week after salary was paid, I was broke. Literally, I was broke and I was writing out IOUs, right, to survive through the remaining days of the month. Such a bad place to be. Such an interesting place to be. Then came a point in my life where I wasn't even making income because I took some really nasty financial decisions. And from earning so much, right, I didn't even have a means of income. So I've been there. I know what it is like to have financial woes, to have financial unhappiness, to literally not know where your next meal is going to come from. I'm going to share an interesting story with you from the Bible, right? I am a person of faith, and I say that boldly. I say that with all sense of confidence. I'm going to be sharing about the story of the widow in 1 Kings chapter 4, whose husband died, literally, and left her with 2 of her children. And then the creditors came around wanting to take away her children. It was such a bad place. Now listen, she wasn't the one who even owed the money. It was her late husband. But she was, bearing the brunt for somebody else's financial responsibility. Don't we find ourselves in such situations where somebody takes a financial decision and then it boomerangs on some other people? I'm going to be reading quickly from 2 Kings chapter 4, right? And I'll read verse 1, and then we'll be sharing 7 P's to learn from this story. I tell you, it doesn't matter where you have been or where you are with your finances. You can come out of it, and you can move from zero to wealth, from stress, right, to wealth. Let's do this. 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 1. One day the widow of a member of the group of prophets, I'm reading from the New Living Translation, came to Elisha and cried out, "My husband who served you is dead. And you know how he feared the Lord, but now a creditor has come, threatening to take my 2 sons as slaves." So, it might have been the man, the son of a prophet who took those decisions. It could have even been, decisions that they took together. But one thing was clear. One thing is clear from what I have just read. The husband is dead. There are debts. The creditors have come to take away the 2 children. I'm not going to be going deep into that story. I just want to bring 7 P's out of the story that I think will challenge you and encourage you and make you see that you can come out of that current financial state into bigger days ahead. So Elisha in verse 2 says, "What can I do to help you? Tell me, what do you have in the house?" And the woman says, "Nothing at all, except a flask of olive oil," she replied. And Elisha said, "Borrow as many empty jars as you can from your friends and neighbors. Then go into your house with your sons. Shut the door behind you. Pour olive oil from your flask into the jars, setting each one aside when it is filled." So she did as she was told. Her sons kept bringing jars to her, and she filled one after another. Soon, every container was full to the brim. "Bring me another jar," she said to one of her sons. "There aren't any more," he told her. And then the olive oil stopped flowing. Verse 7. When she told the man of God what had happened, he said to her, Now sell the olive oil, pay your debts, and you and your sons can live on what is left over. I love this story. It is so powerful. Now listen, some of you don't even have as much financial challenge, or you don't find yourself in a financial quandary as this woman has found herself. Her husband was dead. Listen, her husband was supposedly renowned as a son of prophet. Should sons of prophet have issues? And then he died. So she was still grieving. It was one challenge on top of another. And then she had two sons. Her two sons who were supposed to be source of comfort and encouragement were going to be taken away by creditors. I'm going to go into the stories. 7 P's for financial transformation. The first thing is that this woman took time to perceive her current situation, to perceive her current self versus her potential self and her future self. Listen, this woman could have remained in a state of self-pity, blaming her husband or running away, right, from the creditors, or even agreeing that the creditors take away her sons. Now, I know some of you might think, oh no, she wouldn't have allowed that. But sometimes, can you remember in the scripture, there was a particular time where there was famine. It was so bad that mothers started to kill their own children for food. So listen, there's some challenges that get so much in your neck, in your head, around you, and it seems like you're drowning and you don't care what is happening. A lot of people feel really inundated by the state of the economy. But as they say, in my local adage, when you're crying, you must be seen. This was what the woman did. Number 1 P, she perceived her current self versus her potential self. She sought for help because she knew that there was something better. She knew that there must be a way out of this unpleasant predicament. Don't give up. That's what I'm saying. She didn't give up. She didn't resign to faith. She went out to say, you know what? I know and I knew that my servant was moving around with this guy called the prophet. And I heard of the miracles that he did. Let me go look for him. And she did. So sometimes you need to sit down to do like an introspection. Where am I? What am I currently dealing with? Lack of income or too much expenses? Am I spending too much? Why am I in this financial quandary? Am I spending too much, or do I need to just make more money? Most times I tell people that a lot of people don't have spending problems. They have income problems because they are not making as much. Many of you looking at this video, listen to me today. It's not as if you spend excessively. You just don't have enough money coming in. So perceive your current situation. To perceive means to give thought to introspect, to check, and to see where the issues are coming from. So perceive your current self, then permit yourself to dream. Permit yourself to imagine. Imagination is free. What is your potential self? Listen, when we were young, we believed anything. Our fathers, our mothers will tell us to jump, and, without any care, we'll jump. Your potential self. When you were young, you believed you could do so many things. You had so many potentials that you exhibited. Think about it. You had diamonds, childhood proficiencies. Go back to them. So this woman left her comfort zone. She left that pity party she probably had established for herself, and she went looking for the prophet. Today is a day to start to look for your financial situation. Some of you, it might be to embrace financial literacy. It might be to embrace knowledge. It might be to learn new skills. It might just be to just embrace a positive mindset that it doesn't matter what the economy is saying. I am going to make the most of my life and my potentials, just like this woman did. She stepped out. She went looking for the prophet. Now, number 2 P, don't forget we're talking about 7 P's for financial transformation. She possessed the patience to start small. That's the 2nd P. The patience to start small. Now, when her husband was alive, I wouldn't know how their financial circumstances may have been. Maybe the husband even hid some of the things. Maybe she didn't even know. Because literally, I know women are go-getters. Well, I know some women are, stay-at-home moms, homemakers. But literally, every woman has that maternal instinct to make things work for them and their family. So maybe she didn't know. Maybe she just got, I really do not want to go into that. But she didn't mind. Well, shame was imminent. So she had better stepped out of a comfort zone to embrace anything. Right. She began with a small jar of oil. Now, if Elisha had asked some other person and said, I have just a jar of oil over, it really doesn't matter. I mean, a jar of oil, this does not have the potential to become anything. And then she would have left. But Elisha asked her, what do you have at home? She said, a small jar. And I'm saying to you, that small gift, that small money, that small saving, that small investment, that thing that you term to be small, that you see as small, is what would launch you into your new level. Right? Possess the patience to start small. Some of you need to go back to learn how to do anything. I mean, I've shared this story many times how, as a chartered accountant, qualified 23 years ago, a few years ago, I just wanted to expand my income stream. And I went to learn how to make confectionaries, right? Because I realized the need. I was consulting somewhere and then people would feel peckish during noon, even though they had their lunch bags. But nobody wanted to eat their lunch to eat their lunch at noon when they were going to close at 6. So there was something that needed to, fill in the gap for them. So one day on my way home, I just saw a snack shop around my house. It's like, yeah. So I stopped. Could you give me some discount? I really want to go and resell this. So they gave me the discount the next day, took it to work, gave it to the office assistant. And within 1 hour, she had sold out. Wow. So I went back and I said, you know what? I am not reselling. I want to learn how to do these things. And then they came to teach me at home. So I would usually say, I'm not just a chartered accountant. I'm a chartered egg roll maker, chartered donut maker. Now, that was just to make you laugh. But I learned the skill and I made a business out of it. Do you see what I'm saying? From something small. If you want to increase your financial life, if you want a financial transformation, you must be ready to embrace that thing that you deem as small. So the man of God said, what do you have? He said, a small jar of oil. It's a seed. Seeds are not usually very big. Seeds are usually small. But with the right soil, with the right action, they become big. Number 3, you must pursue personal development. Listen, you cannot expect things to change by doing the same thing. Literally, that quotable quote that says it is insanity to expect things to change without you changing anything. You want your income levels to change, you want your finances to change, then you must be ready to take a leap. Personal development. Prioritize personal development. I tell people that money gravitates towards value. And value is a function of what you can do and what you can give. What can you give? What have you learned in the last 3 years? What new things can you offer? This woman stepped out and said, whatever it is, she had never sold oil in her life, but she embraced that, opportunity. She had probably never even spoken to her neighbors to borrow her anything. She learned how to take on, responsibilities. She learned how to persuade and how to convince people. She learned collaboration with her children. She learned obedience. She learned how to pour oil. So you might not be pouring oil literally, but friends, we've got to make this work, right? Step out, skill up. Number 4, there is no financial transformation without income production, without earning money. In the world of personal finance, you're either increasing your income or reducing your expenses for your finances to get better. But tell me, in an age where inflation is such an issue, what expenses would you reduce? I'm not saying don't reduce your expenses. I'm not saying don't look inwards to see the things you can do. But I'm just saying, guys, it is easier to make more money, to skill up, to embrace multiple sources of income. As an employee, as a self-employed person, as a business owner, as an investor, you can leverage your skills and talents. You can leverage collaboration. Do you see? Impact work. You can leverage grants to achieve your goals. You must produce income. is what I am saying. This woman, that she would not have been able to pay her debts if the oil was not full, because she had to do something so that she could sell, and then, she would make money to not just pay her debt, but to also, have something to live on. The next thing, which is number 5, is practice prudent spending. At Smart Stewards, where I am the lead coach and founder, we don't tell people not to spend money. We tell them to spend smartly. And in one of the courses within our academy, I thought about the 7 things to be spending on for you to, be good with your finances. Don't just spend. Be smart with your spending. Now, the man of God was clear to this woman. Pay your debts first. You're making money. Pay your debt. Prioritize. The whole essence of this miraculous supply is, first of all, to get your creditors off your neck. Many of us don't prioritize what is right. You know what is appropriate. You know you need to pay your children's school fees. You need to feed. You need to fuel your car. Sustenance. You have not done those things. Then you're putting money in things that are not necessary. That's where budgeting comes in. I teach that 50% of your income should go into your necessities. Then 20% into taking care of yourself. Then 30% into your savings and investments. If you make more money and you do not master how to spend your money, you'll be back where you started from. So be prudent with your spending. And then just 2 more P's. 2 more P's, and then we'll be done with this video. The next thing, which is number 6, prioritize building assets. Prioritize creating wealth. Listen, making money is basic. Building wealth is the goal. Anybody can make money, but building wealth takes time. You can make money overnight, but you can't build wealth overnight. That's why it says make money, build wealth. Now, this woman sold so much oil that she could pay off her debts, live on what was remaining, and then she must have had the wisdom to do what? To keep more. If I was her, I don't know what she did, but she could have taken that oil business because there was a market for it. Could have taken that oil business to another level. So she could have much more money to take care of her expenses and then to build wealth. How do you build wealth? Build assets. Buy assets. Asset classes. Investments. Real estate, cash and cash equivalent. Invest in your business, fixed income securities, stocks, commodities. I won't be able to go into that in this video. But short-term goal, make money. Long-term goal, build wealth. Dave Ramsey, one of my mentors, would say that building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. Finally, listen, this woman had neighbors. Number 1, had the man of God, had her children, had neighbors, and had people who would purchase the oil from her. You need to build, but using the P words that I've said, preserve solid circles. Social wealth. Social wealth is important. It takes a village. Now, it took a village for this woman's financial life to turn around. The man of God will give her the business instruction, right? Because it wasn't just prophetic, it was a business idea, business strategy. She herself took it up. Her sons, collaboration. And then the people that borrowed or that lent her, the people she borrowed the containers from. And then the people who bought from her. Listen, this year, next year, this decade, next decade, forever, collaboration is the new goal. You need people to work with. Don't say, no, I'm a private person, I can do it all by myself. You need people to collaborate with. When we talk about business, business is not just brick and mortar. There are different ways you can do business through collaboration. You have the time, somebody has the access. Collaborate. I do that a lot. As a chartered accountant, I collaborate. As a finance coach, I collaborate. At individual levels, at organizational levels. What am I saying? Your financial transformation is very possible this year. And it can start now. Now, this woman, it looked like an overnight success. But yes, you can start to make money right where you are. Using your skills, monetizing your talent, and then continue to rinse and repeat and build on all that you have done. So what have we said in terms of the P's? Number 1, perceive your current self versus your potential self. Isn't it? And then we talked about possessing the patience to start small. We talked about the power of pursuing personal development. I talked about producing income. I talked about practicing, right, prudent spending. I talked about prioritizing wealth creation and building assets. And I talked about preserving solid circles. I believe that with these few points, you can immediately find your hands to do something. Just start today. And listen, if you practice these points before the end of this year, you'll be amazed at the things that you would have accomplished financially. I'm rooting for you. My name is Shola Adeshaki. Join us at the Smart Stewards Academy, where we teach the practical things that you need to do to make, manage, multiply money. Until I see you in the next video, keep being blessed.